How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're back with our Understanding How to Build series, where we go over each of the different leaders in a set to kind of help you understand how to build them by explaining what the options are and how best to, well, some advice to help you build the deck to best suit your playstyle. So we did this for set 1, and I think a lot of people found it very helpful. We thought we'd bring it back for set 2 and just help people understand how to build these new leaders for the beginning of the format, so that way they can try them out and kind of know, like, get some advice on where to start, because building a deck from scratch can be quite difficult. So having a bit of help, have a bit of knowledge, kind of help you when building it to suit you as well, rather than just net decking a deck and not doing very well because you don't understand it. So with the series, we're going to go through it, and we're going to start with Gar Saxon being the first leader. And also, before we get into the video, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop, and by clicking the notification bell, you can get alerts when my videos do drop, so you can watch them there and then, or later time that suits you. Now, if you are interested in understanding how to build Gar Saxon, keep watching, and let's give you some advice to help you understand how to build it to suit you. So, like we always do when we do this, we're going to go over the leader first, because there's no point of trying to build a deck without understanding a leader, because each of the leaders are different, unique, and each have their own different effects. And it's best to understand what the leader is trying to do, so you can build the deck properly rather than trying to build a deck in a way that's not going to, he's not going to get any benefit. Like if you play it for this one, Gar Saxon is all about upgrades. If you play a deck without any upgrades or anything about worried about upgrades, you might as well play a different leader because he's focused on upgrades. But Gar Saxon is here, and he gives you access to the Vigilance and Villainy aspects, which we could go like blue and black. And so he gets you those without the aspect penalty. And if you don't know what the aspect penalty is, if you're new, the aspect penalty is essentially if you try to play a card, because you can play any card you want in the game, in any deck, you can play whatever you want. But if you try to play a card and the aspects on the card, being like these little symbols in the top right for the leader, if any of those symbols on the card you're trying to play don't match what your leader has or your base has, then you have to pay an extra 2 per aspect that doesn't match. So if one doesn't match, you have to pay an extra 2 on top of it. So you've got 2 costs and one aspect doesn't match, that card costs 4. If you have a 2 cost card and you have 2 aspects that don't match your leader or base, then you have to pay an extra 4, meaning you get a 6 cost. So the good thing about this is that having access to Vigilance and Villainy means if you've got these aspects on the card, then you don't have to pay an aspect penalty for those ones. If you want to play a blue card, no aspect penalty. If you want to play a black card, no aspect penalty. Say with blue-black, no aspect penalty. Now, Gar Saxon's a leader here, and he's a Mandalorian leader. He's not just a Mandalorian leader, he's an Imperial Mandalorian official. So he has access to all those traits to kind of get benefits, which Imperial's pretty nice, because you've got some ones for set 1, where you've got some cards that reference an Imperial to get benefits or do things. So he has access to those and makes use of those. He's got Mandalorian as well. We've got a load of new Mandalorian cards in the set, because there's been a lot of Mandalorian support. So you got the benefit of having that being the Mandalorian leader. And then you got the official trait, which doesn't have much of a benefit in that trait, but it does have things like Imperial's Royal Guard for set 2, allowing you to give it Sentinel, because Gar Saxon is official. Now he does deploy not too early, not too late, at 6 resources, which is pretty nice, and comes out with solid stats at 4/7, which is, if you think about it, same as Boba Fett for set 1. Always good stats, a good amount of power, and good amount of health. And at least the good thing about it, if you've got a unit that's above 5 health, then it's not instantly a take it downable by takedown, which is nice. So with this leader being deployed not too early, not too late, and pretty solid stats, he does have some really nice effects as well. So when he's not deployed in the leader area, he has the effect of each friendly upgraded unit gets +1. So if any unit you have is upgraded, it gets extra +1 to its power, which is quite nice. And then we've got it when he deploys. So when he does deploy and flip in and join the battle in the ground arena, he keeps that ability to give each friendly upgraded unit +1 power, but he also gains the new effect as well. So on top of that, so he improves his own effect. So now give any upgraded unit, when defeated, you may return an upgrade that was attached to this unit to its owner's hand. So if you've got an upgrade you actually played on the card, if it gets defeated while Gar Saxon is out out and about, then you get that one of the upgrades on it back, which means the sad thing about upgrades is when you put on a unit and the unit's taken out, you lose that upgrade because it goes along with the unit. But with Gar Saxon's effect, it makes it so you're not really wasting those upgrades, because if that unit you upgraded is defeated, you get at least that upgrade back, so you can use it again and haven't lost out on it. So that's a really nice effect, and that's one thing you got to kind of understand now. So if you want to go for this lead, this kind of whole deal is about upgrades. So you kind of want to like look into what you can use for upgrades. But before we get into like kind of what upgrades you've got, like what things you can do for upgrading, we do have access to this like showcase. We did get to see the showcase a bit quicker before, with actually like pictures as well, which is really nice. And with art, it's always subjective. Like art is always subjective. You can like one person can like one thing and another person can not like it. It's like there's no right or wrong. It's just how like what people perceive. Like if you like an art or something, that's fine. You can like it. Someone might not like it, but that's there for you, and your view is not too bad. But with this showcase, it's quite interesting. Like he goes from looking like Flash Gordon on his like normal leader to be looking like Timothy Olyphant, who's a different character entirely in Star Wars, which is pretty funny. Like to me, this isn't the best art, but it does look quite nice. And the art for Star Wars is kind of a. I've seen people like some people like really like the art, some people really dislike the art. It depends on your taste. And now, why it isn't like to take some people's taste? Like this one's not too bad. It's like her own style, which is quite cool. And it's also by Emil Hut as well, which has done some really nice art, some cards as well, which is like the ones like she normally does. It's really nice. And you can always see the like name of the artist that did the art on the bottom left of the card. So that's the showcase. No really difference to what the card does, just a different art of it. And then we've got in the some of the upgrades. So upgrades are cards like this. You can put on an upgrade onto a unit. So basically pay the cost, put them onto a unit, and then they gain any effects or any stats from the card. And you've got some nice ones here. I picked out some really cool ones here. So we've got Protector being a very nice one because not only does it give is it cheap for one cost, as long as you pay double blue, but it also gives an extra +1 pound, +1 health to a unit, while also giving it Sentinel. This is really nice because one problem with Gar Saxon is when he's out, you want to keep him out, but he's always subject to being attacked into and taken out. So, well, you can't really do anything to about people using events to kind of take him out. You can do it about battle by putting out sentinels or using Protector to give every unit sentinel so they're protected. And Protector being an upgrade means it's got a little benefit with Gar, where you're like making another unit have sentinel to protect Gar from attacks. If that card would Protector does die, at least Gar is going to let you have that Protector back, so you can put on another unit to kind of keep him out there and protect him as long as possible. Then you've got Second Chance here, which is a very nice one. So this is a very costly upgrade of 4. Doesn't give any stat boosts, but does give a really nice effect. When defeated for this phase, this unit's owner may play their card from the discard pile for free. So if you've got this equipped to something, if it does get taken out, you have the effect now to play it back for free from your discard pile at any point during this turn. And thanks to Guy, you'll get back Second Chance. So you can bring the card back, put this back on it, so you can kind of have like a infinite loop of constantly reviving a card as long as you've got the resource to keep putting Second Chance on it. Very cool one, and it's a legendary upgrade as well. And you do need to read double blue unless you want to play the Aspect Plummeting. Then we've got the Dark Saber, and that's a really nice one and pretty unique as well because it is a unique card because it's got that little diamond before the name. But this is one that, just like Second Chance, is a very costly upgrade at 4. But this one gives actual stat boost, being 4 power and 3. So if you go and put it on Gar Saxon, extra 4 power gives it an extra 8 power. Extra 4 power and 3 health, puts it to a 8-10. And thanks to his own effect, because Darksaber's an upgrade on a friendly unit, being himself, he gets an extra 1 power from that, so it'd be a 9-10 if you put the Darksaber on, which is very solid stats, very big stats for a leader, which is kind of scary. And not only that, but you don't have to worry about playing command if you want to put on Gar Saxon himself, because the Darksaber has an effect where while playing this upgrade on a Mandalorian unit, which Gar Saxon is, you can ignore his aspect penalty. I mean, you have to worry about having command if you want to play it, so you can play this in any kind of aspect combination with Gar. And if you play on Gar himself, you don't have to worry about not having command on your base. And not only that, but if you do want to get the full benefit of this and play a lot of Mandalorians, if you want to go Mandalorian focus with Gar Saxon, the Darksaber has an extra effect which gives the whatever's equipped to on attack, give an experience token to each other friendly Mandalorian unit. So you put this on Gar, he's going to keep boosting all your other Mandalorian units every time he attacks. And when he's attacking for 9, that's a lot of damage. And also making everything a little bit stronger and a bit bulkier, which is cool. Then you got Snapshot Reflexes. So this is never a cheap one, just like Protector, 1 cost. But it has a Cunning aspect. Also gives Protector extra 1/1 to stats, but then with Gar Saxon gives extra 1 power, so technically he's giving 2/1 to whatever you put on. And not only that, but you're not only powering up a card, but you also allowing it to attack in the same action because it's got when played, you may attack with that attached unit. So you can pop this on a unit, give it an extra 2 power and 1 health, and then straight away attacking the summoning. And if you do trade with it, you're going to be getting that snapshot reflexes back to hand thanks to Gar Saxon's effects on this deployed. So you can basically just in one action boost summoning and attack with it straight away, and then get the reflexes back to then use it on another one to kind of keep attacking like very quickly, powering up and attacking straight away, which is pretty cool. Not only that, we also have other upgrades like token upgrades, which are like experience and shield. So these are ones that you can get from cards to cards to say give an experience to a unit, which basically gives an extra puts a token token upgrade on a card, giving it extra +1 power and +1 health. And then things that give a card shield, like the keyword shielded, or cards that give a shield to a unit, give them a shield upgrade, making it so you lose this instead of damage the first time you take. If you would take damage while this is attached. But the main thing about these are token upgrades. So if a card has experience on it or a shield, those are technically upgrades, which means any card that has experience or shield in it will get an extra +1 power thanks to Gar Saxon. So making the first experience card, experience you put on a unit with Gar as your leader, giving it 2-1 instead of just 1-1, and then anything that's got a shield in it, giving it also extra 1 power is pretty nice as well. And also do note that token upgrades also have a cost, like all the other cards up in the top left-hand corner being 0. So while might not be relevant in most cases, it is relevant in some cases. Because there are some cards, especially I think enough for some set 1, but at least for set 2, that reference about cost of upgrades and also like move them around or remove them. So if a card references a card like 2 or less, it can hit upgrades and experience because they are upgrades with a cost of 0. So do note that. So that's the upgrades. You can kind of like a little bit help around upgrades to kind of help you understand like what kind of upgrades, what they do for Gar Saxon, I can benefit from them. But also we've got different aspect combinations. So every leader has 4 different aspect combinations it can run. So it can run the 2 you get from the leader, being for Gar Saxon's case, being Villainy and Vigilance, being black blue. And then depending on what base you choose, you can either have double blue, blue green, blue red, or blue yellow. So the different ones being double Vigilance, Vigilance command, Vigilance aggression, or Vigilance cunning. So this is quite beneficial because having this combination means you can avoid having the aspect penalty. Because remember the aspect penalty, if any aspects don't match on your lead, match the card you want to play with your lead and base, you have to pay an extra 2 per aspect that doesn't match. So by thinking about what aspect combination you want to have, you can avoid the aspect penalty to make sure you're not playing more than what the card actual costs, to kind of not be paying too much than what you want to. Like there are some benefits to playing things out of aspect, but do consider that like how useful the card is depending on like what the extra cost you're going to be paying. But those are the 4 different aspects you can go over. Well, basically have with Gar Saxon, and we'll get into them. But before we do, we want to have a chat about ratios, because in this game you can play a maximum of 3 copies of any given card, so 4 free copies of it. But then there are kind of benefits to having 3 copies of a card, 2 copies of a card, and 1 copy of a card. But technically, 3 copies of a card is cards you want to basically have and see as much as possible, or basically have a higher chance of seeing them as quick in early turns. So you want things like Dr. Pershing here being an example, being a very good card that you can play as early as turn 1, and has a very nice effect, allow you to tap him, deal 1 damage to a friendly unit, be it himself or something else that you have, to draw a card, to give you a nice bit of draw, helping you draw a bigger hand, to have more options, and be able to do more things. So this is a card you want to have full 3 copies of because you want to see it early, and you normally put 3 copies of a card that you basically actually want to use, keep playing, see as much as possible, and as many as possible at 3. Now for 2 copies of a card, you normally want to have those at cards that either you're like teching, like not too like don't want to have too many too early, or like too many so you don't really clog your hand, or big kind of big units that you can't play early or until you get to late game, that could just clog your hand if you see them early, but then it'd be useful late game. So previously here being a good one, be a very costly card at 7 with very good stats and very good effect. But if you see it early, you either have to resource it or keep it in hand to be able to play. And if you keep it in hand, well, if you're resourcing it, then you have lost access to that copy of a card, and then have to try and hope you draw another one later in the game. And if you're keeping hold of it, it means you're like basically having your hand is 1 less because that card's just sitting there waiting for the late turns and never going to be useful until that point. So sometimes you want to put cards of 2 copies to avoid having too many early when they can't be used. And then 1 copy of cards normally your like tech choices, like your one-offs that can help in certain situations or be very useful depending if the situation comes up. If you don't see it, you don't care. And if you do see it, and it's not useful, you can just always resource it. So things like Finalize are a very huge card that has like a certain situation, like you need a board to actually get the big benefit of it. And what is huge with like very good stats is very high costing, which means if you don't get to that point in the game, or don't have a board when it comes to it, it might not be useful. So if it's not useful and you see it, charge it. If it's useful and you see it, play it. If it's not, you don't see it and it's not useful, or you do see it, then it's not too much of a worry. So that is the explanation about ratios, so hopefully that helps. And now we get into different aspect combinations, starting off with double blue. So in set 1, double blue was kind of one that not many, like there's only like at least one different, one leader in each different aspect that kind of had a good benefit of being double blue. Well, sorry, not double blue, but double aspect, because in set 1, well, even just now, in set 1 you had a small card pool, and even set 2 is now doubled that. But if you go double aspect, let's say you wanted to play Gar with command, not only do you have access to blue and black, well, blue, black, and black cards thanks to Gar's aspects, but thanks to command you also get access to basic green, black, and green and green black as well. So you have a much bigger card pool thanks to having 2 different aspects. But with having double aspect, you sacrifice that whole other aspect of green just to have access to 3 powerful cards. You lost access to a big card pool to just have access to 3 extra cards. So you really limited your card pool by having double aspect. But now with set 2, you have double the card pool, so you have double the amount of blue cards, double the amount of black cards, double the amount of blue-black cards, and even double the amount of double blue cards. So it was less of a great option to go double aspect depending on the leader or what can make use of it in set 1. In set 2, you got a better pool. And also it came with leaders as well. So while we only have, not leaders, bases as well. So while we got some more bases in set 2, we got 2 for each different aspect, but they're all, but the 2 in set 2 that you got new were both 30 health base with no effect, so no more rare bases with 25 health and an effect. But the one we do have for blue is a security complex, which in sacrificing 5 health on your base, you have the epic action to once per game give a shield token to a non-leader unit, which could be very useful, very handy, but depends if you want to sacrifice that 5 health to have that one-off effect. And not only that, but you got double the amount of double blue cards. So before we had Bendu, Protector, and Vigilance being very good double blue cards. You now have access to Sugi, Second Chance, and Midnight Repairs. So we've kind of already spoke about Protector and Second Chance with the upgrades. It could be useful to Gar. So with Bendu, he is a 6-cost Sentinel, 4/7, and he makes it so when he attacks, the next non-Villainy card you play, because you're not going to be running Heroic, costs 2 less. So the next card that doesn't have the black Villainy aspect comes in for 2 less after you've attacked with him. So you can play like Vigilance Sugi, or Second Chance for 2, or even Midnight Repairs for 3, which could be very handy. So I can make playing things out a little bit cheaper. Could be very handy with managing resources a little bit better and playing more things for less resources. Then you have Vigilance being a very good card. Every aspect has one of these for set 1, being a legendary event that costs 4, double aspect, and named after the aspect is from. For Vigilance, the 4 options you have that which you can use any 2 of are either mill top 6 cards of your opponent's deck. So we're going for that mill option, which is good for double blue. You also got the heal 5 damage from your base, meaning you can kind of keep yourself healthy on your base as well. Keep it healthy, keep it low with the damage. Defeat a unit that has 3 or less remaining HP, so kind of a bit removal for things that are extremely weak. And then also the last option being give a shield token to a unit, meaning that put that protection on, because that's kind of the whole synergy of blue is all about staying healthy, healing things up, and also protecting things. So protection and healing thanks to their effects, and Vigilance kind of perfectly sums it up with its options. And remember, this can be reduced by 2 for Bendu, which is quite cool. And then for the new ones we got, so we got Sugi here being a 4-cost 4/6 stat, so that's just 1 health away from Gar, and 4 costs rather than waiting to 6 resources, which is pretty nice. She can also be smuggled out, and if you can play her in any different aspect combination, not just double blue, because if you want to play her from hand, it will cost 6 if you don't have double blue. The smuggle cost is 6 anyway, and only costs 1 blue. So if you want to play this in with any other different aspect combination, You can by just resourcing it and playing the same as if you were from hand, just from resources. A good, easy card of choice to resource, and then as well as that, bring it out, and her effect is one enemy unit is upgraded. She gains Sentinel, which could be very handy, especially to protect Gar Saxon as well. Then the last one we haven't talked about is Midnight Repairs. This is quite a nice one, a 2-cost event that allows you to heal up to 8 for total damage for any number of units. So if you have units on board and you've got Sentinel, you're kind of protecting them and they take a bit of damage, you can use this just for 2 to kind of heal up 8. Now, while this is an amazing turret, it could be handy in Gar Saxon because if you've got damage spread out, especially from Dr. Pershing, putting damage on different things while having a Sentinel there protecting your board, you can use the Midnight Repairs for very cheap to kind of just heal the damage off so you can keep them healthy and closer away from being just taken out by battle or by effects that need a specific amount of HP. So that's double blue. So that's, if you want to give double blue, that's a more very controlling kind of way to play. So more back and forth. Basically, it is very interactive, back and forth. But you have some other things of being very hard to kill, plus also against the more controlling matches, have a good way to kind of finish off being milling out the opponent. So that way they run out of cards in deck and have to then take damage. And then if they can't recoup cards back in the deck after they've already got 5 turns after they've milled out to kind of before they then take enough damage, even with a 30 health base, to then be taken out. So you put them on a clock that way. Also, you have this pretty cool unkillable loop kind of thing. Depending if you've got the resource to keep doing it, you can keep doing it, basically bringing out an unkillable Sentinel. So, as I said, Gar Saxon's got the effect of when he's deployed, giving an upgrade unit +1 power, plus making it so if the card's defeated, you get an upgrade on it back to your hand. We've got Charlton here, a card from set 1, which is a 4-cost 2/2 that has Sentinel, so it protects both your other units and base free in the ground arena. And when he's played, you can fill up the 4 blue cards from your hand and give an experience token for each unit revealed. So if you reveal 4 cards, you give him 4 experiences, experience tokens, which make him a 6/6, and an extra 1 power from Gar, make him a 7/6 Sentinel, defending your ground arena. So while that's huge, very hard to get through. If you're trying to take out Charlton with 4, after revealing a maximum of 4 cards from him, being 7/6, it can be very hard to take him out. So you've got to use an effect to take him out, an event or effect, or push damage. If you're pushing damage, whatever card is attacking into it when he's at 7 power is normally dying trying to take him out, or failing to take him out, and multiple cards are doing it, which are all constantly dying. And if you have him with Second Chance, which is an upgrade, which is very costly at 4, but makes it so if the card's defeated, you can play it back from your discard pile for free this phase. Now, the nice thing about Gar Saxon is that if Charlton does have Second Chance on him, and he is then a 7/6 and does die, Second Chance will trigger, meaning you can play back Charlton during this phase for free from your discard. But then Gar Saxon will also get your Second Chance back to hand. So while you normally lose Second Chance, Gar Saxon gives you Second Chance back to your hand for free, while Second Chance also triggers to bring back Charlton. So then the next action you do is basically bring back Charlton back from the discard. So you come back in, it's 1 player trigger again. So you can reveal Second Chance of 3 other blue cards and given that 4 experience, and Gar Saxon given that extra power because he's got experience tokens on him, making him back in play as a Sentinel 7/6. And if you've got the resources, you can put Second Chance back on him, so that if he's defeated again, he comes back and kind of keep doing it over and over again, where a chance to die, Second Chance to trigger to be able to play him back for free, Second Chance to go back to your hand thanks to Gar Saxon, and then you can play him back out, chuck the Second Chance back on with all your resources, and just keep doing that loop over and over again, as long as you have the resources to play Second Chance back out. So that's pretty nice. I do want to try it out. I will probably get a deck list out as well after a bit trying, once I tweak it a bit, and hopefully you can have something fun with that, because that's a cool little combo that I thought would be pretty cool with Gar Saxon. But now we have Command, and once again, Command brings you the leaders, but then it's got a rare base, which is probably one of the most used in the game at the moment, especially for set 1, being Energy Conversion Lab. Its epic action allows you to play a 6-cost or less from your hand and give it Ambush. Ambush being a skill which allows you to ready the unit and attack another unit the turn it's played, where normally you would play a card in, it come in rested, but Ambush allows you to ready it and then attack when your opponent's unit, not their base, another unit that unit your opponent controls in the same arena straight away. Now you do have to pay the cost for the unit. Like, you don't pay out 6 costs or less for free, that would be busted. You do have to pay the cost still, so do bear that in mind. But you have access to that or one of the 30 health bases as your option for a base. Now, this combination was very, very strong in set 1. Like, it's one of the most commons among either you had a green leader, a green villainy leader, with a blue base, or a blue Villainy leader with a green base to kind of have that good control, because you've got the healing and like kind of the healing and vitality of blue, plus the removal and big units from green, which makes for a very combination for the dark side. And plus, green is, well, command is the aspect of ramping. It kind of increases your resources quickly, so you can play things out as soon as possible. And you have some things like super laser technique should be in a unit which you can ram. Basically, when defeated, you can resource play it into your resources ready. So basically, add to resources when it's defeated. Very useful effect. You got Emperor's Royal Guard, which if you control Palpatine, which there's only two Palpatines, which is one is a leader and one is a red unit, so you're not going to play it with this combination. But while you control Palpatine, you get 1+1 power. But that's not the important thing about this. The important thing is when you control an official unit, it gains Sentinel. And remember, Gar Saxon is an official unit, so you can, when you've got Gar Saxon out with this Emperor's Royal Guard, which you can have multiple ways because this card is not unique, it becomes a Sentinel, which is very, very cool. You've also got Darth Vader as well, being one of the best units in the game for set 1. Still probably on one of the best units in the game for set 2. Being a very nice high cost unit, 7 cost, 5/7, comes down, ambush, and also when played, allows you to look at the top 10 cards and play any number of dark units with a combined cost of 3 or less, and play them out for free. So you can either play like 1 free cost, a 2 and a 1, or 3 ones out from among the top 10. So he comes down, takes attacks something straight away. Very good power, very good health, and also plays out some more things for the top 10. And then kind of coincide with that, we got Maul, which is kind of same cost, but has a bit more power, a bit less health, but has a kind of different stats. So they're both force units, so you get the benefit of that. But Maul comes down with 7 power and ambush, but also overwhelm. So any overwhelm is a unique skill, which when you defeat a unit, any excess damage on that unit that exceeds the health goes to your bonus base. If you attack a card that has 5 health with Maul, he does 5 damage to it, and the extra 2 that is left over goes to your opponent's base as long as that unit is defeated. But you got to make sure for Overwhelm that the unit you attack needs to be defeated for Overwhelm the trigger. Now, he does have a little bit less health, that's 6, but still 6 is pretty good. And he's also got on attack where you can choose a never friendly underworld unit, so it's like kind of certain trait, which is nothing on Gar or anything like that. But if you have a friendly unit with underworld trait, you can choose that. And then if you do, all combat damage that Maul would be dealt to that unit instead. So if you got an underworld unit out, which there are like I think there are some in blue and green now with set 2, then you can choose that unit, and then Maul attacks something, and any damage Maul will take, it goes on that unit instead, which keep Maul healthy. So it's then a 7/6 with no damage on, which is hard to deal with, and most likely kill anything that tries to take it out. Not only that, you have one of the best events in the game, being Overwhelm Barrage, being a nice one, a very high costing one at 5 cost, allowing you to give a friendly unit plus 2/2 for this phase, and then deal its power as damage among however you like among your opponents, any units you on the board. So you can just potentially take out a bolt. Like with Maul, you can give it an extra 2/2, making it a 9/8, and then put 9 damage out across the board, however you choose. Now, the non-dark side of it is a little bit different, but you got some good cards. You see there, you got the dark side, which kind of gives access to it. But remember, you can pay the dark saber, as long as you're putting it on Gar Saxon in any different aspect combination, because you can ignore the aspect penalty as long as you put on Gar. So this is just a card you can play in any aspect. You got other things like Scanning Officer. There's a new skill. Well, there's 3 new skills in this game from set 2, being Smuggle, a way to play out cards from your resources. You also got Bounty, being when a unit with a bounty on is defeated, the opponent claims whatever effect is on the bounty, which is described on the bounty. And then Capture, allowing you to make a unit capture a card, playing it face down underneath a specific one of your units to take it, capture a card, and remove it from the board. But if that card is taken out, then the card it captured gets back on the board, rested with back to where it came from. But green's quite nice with these. We got Scanning Officer, which kind of helps you mitigate the new keyword with Smuggle, being when it's played. You can look at you can reveal 3 enemy resources and defeat any of them that has a Smuggle keyword on them. And then for each resource you do defeat, you do replace it with the top card of your opponent's deck into the resource. So yeah, I remember, unless it states it goes in back in active, it goes in ready. It goes in rested. So if you do play this, I think if you do play it on your opponent and choose their resources that are active, they might, I think they go in rested, so that could be something quite nice. If you defeat the resources, you kind of like screw up their resources or their energy for the turn, which could be cool. You also got Legal Authority being a nice little upgrade, which once again goes well with Gar. So while it doesn't only gives 2 health, it gives an extra 1 power thanks to Gar, and allows the attached unit to capture a non-leader unit with less power. So you can put this on Gar to give him more health and allow him to capture units, which are pretty nice. And then you've got some good events as well, like Timely Intervention, which is as we know, like ambush is one of the strongest mechanics, and this is a way to give ambush to a card. So this allows you to play a unit from your hand and give ambush for the phase. So as long as you can play one more than the cost of the card, you can play a card with ambush if it doesn't have it ready. And it's even got smuggle cost, meaning if you can always resource it, then for later play it for a smuggle cost, which is 2 and 1 green, and basically the command aspect. Well, sorry, yeah, 2 in the command aspect. And then you've got the effort card you can kind of use to ramp. That's not the double command one, being resupply, being a simple free cost event that puts itself into play as a resource. Now we've got aggression. And what the benefit of aggression is that it's all about pinging damage, like basically spreading out damage and just controlling the board and pushing, just controlling what units are out there, but just throwing out damage on them willy-nilly. And the base kind of represents that, because the rare base for it is Attack in Town, which the epic action allows you to deal 3 damage to a damaged non-leader unit, so you can't do it to a healthy unit. It's got to be a unit that's damaged. You could deal 3 damage to it, but you can then kind of use it to finish off a non-leader unit when you want, which is cool. But you sacrifice 5 health to do that, so it depends what you want. We also got some pretty nice units in it. So you got some, Death Watch Loyals being a very nice one that comes as a 3 cost 3/3 with Grip and Overwhelm. So the more damage it takes, the stronger it gets, and it's overwhelmed, so any extra damage gets put through to the base if it takes out a unit. You got Pre-Vizsla being a very nice one at 7 cost 8/7 that kind of helps you mess with upgrades. Because when played on attack, you can pay the cost of an upgrade, which remember, as long as you pay the cost, even with shields and experience, they're 0, so you can pay 0 cost to choose upgrades like shield and experience, and attach it to another non-vehicle unit. And if you do, take control of that upgrade and attach it to this unit. And if able, if it can't be attached to this unit, defeat it instead. So for whatever reason you can't put an upgrade on Pre-Vizsla, you defeat it. But you can take upgrades off of things and put on himself to kind of, as long as you pay the cost. So when you play him, if you don't have any resources to kind of pay the cost for it, you can still take experience and shields off things, put them on it because they cost 0, so you don't have to pay anything for that. But then after that, because it's on attack as well, you can then go ahead and attack and take event like upgrades off things, take control of those upgrades, and put them on him to make him stronger or give him more experience or shields and things like that, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty nice unit, and he's also Mandalorian as well, so it gets a boost from Darksaber when if it's on it or on Gar Saxon when he swings. You also have some pretty cool space units like Imperial Scepter, which can come in and deal 3 damage to a space unit, so kind of manage the space race. And then Ruthless Vader, which also, when it's played or when it's taken out, does 2 damage to a base and to an enemy unit, being space or ground. So you can ping damage around on base and the things, and then you swing it for 4 damage while having 6 health. And if it is taken out, there you go, you're going to put in some more damage as well, which is quite nice. And then you got things like Ruthlessness, which is pretty cool. So this is a 1 cost upgrade in the Dark Side of Red. It gives an extra 2 power, it's extra 3 power technically if it's the only upgrade on, well, thanks to Gar Saxon, give it extra +1 power because it's an upgrade on a unit. But it gives the attached unit when this unit attacks and defeats the unit, so if you try to focus on managing the board, it allows you to deal 2 damage to offend a unit's player's base. So when it attacks and defeats a unit, you can do 2 damage to offend a player's base, and when this card is taken out, you can get this back thanks to Gar Saxon, put it back on another unit to kind of keep managing control, also still doing damage to your opponent's base. Very helpful in that way. Then for the non-Dark Side of Red, you've got things like House Cast Soldier, being a 2 cost Mandalorian. So more Mandalorians if you want to go for Mandalorian focus. Has Saboteurs that can ignore things like Sentinel. You got Clan Challengers, being once again another Mandalorian unit. Only like a 5 cost but 3/6, but gains raid 3, so when it attacks it gains extra 3 power for that attack. And if he's upgraded, he's got Overworld, meaning any excess damage on anything he takes out goes to your opponent's base. So very cool unit, and since you can upgrade him, you get extra power thanks to Gar. as long as you upgrade them, even by experience or shields or anything like that. You got Saving Fangfire, never a Mandalorian use, but a space one that allows you to like kind of defeat upgrades. If your opponent's got upgrades on theirs, you can use this to take it out, or if your opponent's putting things like Entrenched on your unit or a Carbonite, a new one we've got in the game, then you can use the Saving Fangfire to kind of chuck those away to get rid of them because they're not very useful. And then you also got some upgrades in the normal side of red as well, like Infiltrator skill, being given a 1/1 stats to a card, actually +1 power thanks to Gar Saxon, and gives the unit Saboteur so you can kind of ignore Sentinel if you want to keep pushing for damage to base. And then you got Van Brace Flamethrower as well. This is a more costly upgrade at free cost, giving only 1/1 stats, but remember, extra 1 power from Gar. And this gives the unit that you attack that's not a vehicle, the on attack, allowing you to choose deal 3 damage divided as you choose among enemy ground units. So you can kind of ping damage how you want, either all 3 damage on one unit or spread out across multiple of the 3 damage. It's a pretty nice one. This is pretty cool for it. I think there's a lot more Mandalorians. I can't remember if they're like more like in the light side or the dark side, but you've got some more Mandalorians mainly between like the blue and red. So blue red could be pretty good for Gar Saxon. Plus you put like upgrades on them as well. Could be very handy. And how if you like ping damage, like throw out damage across things, well, to kind of manage the board a little bit easier. And then we've got yellow, so this is the more controlling aspect in the game, being command, and it's got one of the least used bases in the game for the rare bases, being Jedha City, because all its effect is it allows you to give a non-leader unit -4 power for this phase, making it a little bit weaker, so you can avoid taking much damage off a unit you do this on, or make it easier to take out a unit without taking much retaliation. But you can play a very controlled game with this because you've got like Bazine Natal would be a nice one for turn 1. Like normally you used to use set 1 to kind of like see what your opponent's got in hand, ready to play things like Bodhi Rook and stuff like that. You play out Viper Pro Droid, kind of play turn 1 to look at your opponent's hand and see what you've got, and put a pretty strong turn 1 unit on the board, being a 3/2. But you've got this Bazine Natal now, which is a kind of done the same, kind of not as great stats as it, being a 1 power 3 health, which is a lot different to the droid being a 3/2. But it's got a 1 play where you look at your opponent's hand, and then you get to choose one of those cards and discard it, and then that player draws another card. Not only that, it's also a smuggle card as well, so you can always resource it, smuggle it later, do that. But this is a very nice unit because you can use it turn 1 to kind of see what your opponent's got in hand and kind of disrupt them from either like taking out the turn 1 play if they've only got 1, or things like a resupply or like any ramp they got in the hand, take it out and get rid of it, get the card back, but at least you've disrupted play of a card they might want to keep or might want to use against you. You also got Jabba, which I always find is like a really cool unit, 4 cost 2/8, and allows you to play trick events for 1 less, and there's some more trick events. With each set, with more sets comes more trick events, which can mean Jabba can get a lot better, depending on how many events, and when he does get played, you get to search the top 10 cards of your deck for a trick event and add it to your hand. And there's a fair few in green and also in different colors now, which is pretty cool. And depending on the trick events, Jabba's stocks just rise a bit. Not only that, but you got upgrades as well. And while Frozen Carbonite is not one you want to chuck on your own units to kind of give a boost, but it's one you can chuck on your opponent's units. And it can attach to a non-leader unit, but if the attached unit can't ready, and then when played on a unit, it exhausts that attached unit. So for 3 resources, you can put on your opponent's non-leader units, and then it can't ready during the end of the turn, and it basically gets rested if it's not already rested. So it does what it wants. Says Frozen Carbonite, kind of destructive ones. If you want to go for that plus Entrenched, you can make it really annoying to put upgrades on your opponent's cards so they can't really do anything against you, or you just hold off until later game, like control it there. And also you got some pretty nice events in No Good to Me Dead, a way to kind of lock something down for 2 turns, because how the turns progress in Star Wars is you have your main phase first, then the end phase, then end of the turn is when you do your whole drawing, resourcing, and then untapping everything. Whereas in most other games you do it at the beginning and the end. The Star Wars is at the beginning, and then untap things at the end. So by using No Good to Me Dead, not only do you rest that card for that turn, but where it doesn't ready at the end of the turn, it's not readied for the next turn, which is very, very nice. And you got Triple Dark Raid as well. A nice way if you want to focus on space units, kind of push with space. It's a free cost. It's a new event, free cost. Allows you to look at the top 7 cards of your deck for a vehicle and play it. It costs 5 less than its cost. So yeah, you're paying 3 to pay 5 less, so 2 less in total. And then it enters play ready, so it can attack straight away. But then at the end phase, you get to you have to return it back to your hand. So pretty nice there if you want to focus on space. And then as well as that, with you got some pretty nice ones in it. Got a fair few upgrades in yellow, which is quite cool. You got some nice, like a nice unit like Outer Rim Headhunter, which gets more of a benefit as the longer guy's out, because he's got on attack where if you control a leader unit, you can exhaust a non-leader unit, and he's got raid 1 as well. So if you put an upgrade on him, it gets even stronger, and he can just keep attacking. And while guy's out, you're resting something each time it swings. And you got some nice upgrades like Smuggling Compartment. If you go for a vehicle focused deck, you put Smuggling Compartment on something on a vehicle for 1, gives it plus 1/1 to the stats, plus extra 1 from Gar, and it gives the effect to when it attacks, you ready a resource to give you more resources, kind of like how like a extra way to go around getting the same effect as Boba. You also have snapshot reflex, which you already went over, and you've also got Jetpack as well. So Jetpack's a nice one. It's a 2-cost event that gives an extra 2 power, 0 health. You can also smuggle it in as well. Attach it to a non-vehicle unit. Remember, with Gar Saxon, you get an extra plus 1 power, so it's technically with Gar giving plus 3 to a unit for 2. And then when it's played on a unit, you give a shield token to that attached unit, and then at the start of the regroup phase, you defeat that token. So while you're giving a shield token to the unit, it's a great card because you give a shield token, you play it on a unit, give it more power, give a shield token to it as well, so it's protected for damage once. And then you're always going to put on something you're going to ram into one of your opponent's units because you're going to lose the shield anyway at the end of the turn. So if you play it on a unit and then tap base, it doesn't get attacked. You've basically just played this just to get a shield and not use it. So this is best used to kind of play it on a unit and then ram it into one of your opponent's units to take it out because it's even stronger thanks to getting 3 power from the power of Jetpack and from Gar Saxon. To take out a unit without taking any clapback, and if the unit is defeated and Gar Saxon's out, you'll get Jetpack back, so you can play it back on another unit, gain a shield and swing and control the board a little bit easier. So Jetpack's a really nice one that kind of help control board a little bit easier as long as it's not a vehicle unit. It's a good one for the ground arena. And not only that, but you do have Evacuate being a very nice widespread removal that's not as devastating to you as Super Laser Blast is, because Super Laser Blast for 8 just takes out everything on the board, and while you don't want you want to keep Gar Saxon out once he's deployed, Evacuate can do that without killing Gar Saxon, because it costs a little bit less than Super Laser Blast at 6, but it allows you to return everything that's not a leader, so not Gar Saxon, back to his owner's hand. So you can kind of like clear the board, put it all back in your opponent's hand. While they do have the cards back in their hand, anything upgraded doesn't go back, but then you clear the board so you can start from scratch for the next turn. So if you want to go for more control route, it's quite nice. You've got a fair few upgrades in the combined with blue and yellow. And if you want to play a more controlling game, it could be a way to play for you. So more controlling, like kind of holding off your opponent, stopping your opponent from being able to do anything or have anything. Also controlling it and just slow rolling it. So, like I said as well, where Gar Saxon is an Imperial unit, you get the benefits of all the like Imperial stuff, like for set 1 with just the normal just Villainy cards that you get, like, well, yeah, you get Admiral Multi, like any dark deck gets Admiral Multi, but you get things like Snowtrooper Lieutenant, which has a 1 played, allow you to attack with an Imperial unit, it gets +2 for that attack, so you can attack things a bit stronger. You got General Fears, which boosts all things that are Imperial by 1/1 ways out on board, which is pretty cool. And you've got TIE Advance, being a space unit, it comes down and gives 2 experience to another friendly Imperial unit, so you can go on Gar Saxon, so you gets an extra 2 experience, meaning an extra going up to 6, 9, and then extra 1 power thanks to it, because since the experience token is a upgrade, Gar Saxon will give himself an extra power and go up to 7, 9, which is pretty cool. So you got those benefits, you got some good benefits from the dark side for Gar Saxon because he's an Imperial, and you might be thinking, what do you get from the benefit of just Gar Saxon himself, and what does he bring with these aspects? Well, he brings some nice things. You can get Doctor Pershing as a very good turn 1 play, being a very one you can play turn 1, and then just every turn he's alive, just tap himself, deal damage to a friendly unit, be himself or another unit on board that you control, and well, that's a friendly one, and then draw a card from that. So you can get extra bit of troll, which is a very nice addition to the dark side of blue. You also have 3rd and 4, which would be never turn 1 play, but more in the space race, and allows you to 1 played or 1 defeated. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, keep any number on top, put the rest at the bottom, to kind of like manage to see what you're drawing into for the next 2 cards and kind of manage what you go into next. You even have Clan Saxon Gauntlet, which is a 6-cost space unit. It has Sentinel on a 4 or 5, and whenever it's attacked, you can experience token to a unit, so you can give it to itself or to any other unit if you want to, which then also boosts it thanks to Gar Saxon. And you got Brutal Traditions being like kind of a signature like upgrade that goes really well with Gar Saxon, where it's a 2 cost, gives 1/2, remember extra 1 power, so it technically gives a 2/2 thanks to Guy. And it's got an action, which if an enemy unit was defeated this phase, you can play this upgrade from your discard pile. Now, this doesn't build really amazingly with Gar Saxon, because, well, unless he's not deployed, because when he's deployed, you're going to be getting that upgrade back to hand to kind of play it out again, so you'd have to worry about going to discard and having one to play from the discard. But it's a way that if you take out your opponent's unit, you can play it from your discard, meaning you have using less cards from your hand and having more options, and it's quite unique playing stuff from the discard. And then, of course, you've got Power Dark Side being a very cheap Dark Side blue event, allowing you to forcing your opponent to just kill one of their own cards. And remember, this one is all about like how many, like more useful depending on how many cards are on your opponent's board. The less cards they've got, the better it is because the less options you've got to kind of kill off something. But whereas the more the things they have on board, the worse it is because they've got more options and they can always go with the weakest one. And then just normal side of blue, you've got like things like Embo being a very nice unit where when it completes an attack, if the defender was defeated, so if you're taking out something, you can heal up to 2 damage from a unit, be it itself as well. You got Fen Rao as well, being a nice unique unit, being all about the upgrades as well. 6 cost, 5/6, which is not too bad for a stats and cost. And when you do play it, you can play an upgrade from your hand and it costs 2 less. You can play any upgrade from your hand, costs 2 less. You can either go on itself or any other units on play as well. But then if you do play an upgrade on this unit, remember any upgrade, being experience, being shield, being like an actual upgrade, you can -2/2 something for the phase that your opponent controls. So you can -1 your opponent's cards by 2/2 for the phase, make it easier, like less worrying and easier to kill. Then you got some nice upgrades like Mandalorian Armor, which is a 2 cost 1 free, which technically is 2 free thanks to Gar Saxon. But then when you played, if the attached unit is a Mandalorian, which is a very nice one to put on Gar or any of Mandalorians you control, gives a shield token to it. So it's got protection from damage once, which is very, very, very nice. Remember, if the unit is defeated after having this on and Gar Saxon deployed, you get it back to your hand to kind of play it back again and then boost up a unit and give it a shield again. And not only that, but blue has some of the best events to kind of like instantly take things down. Like you got Takedown, allowing you to 4/4, to kill anything for 5 or less remaining HP. And then Fell the Dragon, a new one, being for 4 resources as well, to kill anything that's not a leader that has 5 or more power. You also have one that I didn't kind of put in because I forgot to put in, which is Fell the Rival's Full, allowing you for 6 to kill anything, just basically defeat a unit, kill anything, leader, non-leader, anything, for 6 resources, which is pretty cool. So blue has a very nice bit of control, so just having Gar Saxon itself gives you access to some like good healing, protection, and kind of like good removal events as well. So that's it for this one for unsighted build Gar Saxon. So like, hopefully this helps. Let me know how you look if you are looking to play Gar Saxon, what you're looking to build with him. Are you looking to go double blue and go like very controlling, healing, kind of like go for mill? Are you looking for green, the guy kind of ramp up as quick as possible and pick big things out? Are you looking to go for red and kind of be like very aggressive and kind of go through with like the like just control board and just be as aggressive as possible? Or are you looking to go yellow or blue and be very controlling and very annoying? Hopefully this becomes helpful, and we're going for the next one. The next one we're going to do is going over Kira. So if you're interested in that one, stay tuned. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Like a boss.